sons of my own mother, as surely as the Lord lives, if you had spared their lives, I will not kill you. These were the kings of Midian, Zebah and Zalmunna, who had killed Gideon's brothers. And if you all know the story of Gideon, he was a powerful warrior. Revenge is a powerful thing. And the real question is, does the love for your brother justifies tearing down another man to soothe their heartache or of losing one's own flesh and blood? This cannot be compared to St. John 3, verse 16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. We at times think we have given our all, but have you thought about that scripture I just mentioned? He indeed gave his all for you. Sometimes we make ourselves indisposable to others, but have you ever thought, are you making yourself indisposable to God? Are you asking him to use you for whatever the task may be? We as humans tend to have our own ways of doing stuff. But if we say we obey and adore him, then what about his way? How do we balance this? This breeds life to many different questions, like what are you doing to get closer to him and closer to the kingdom? Judges 8, verse 33. No sooner had Gideon died than the Israelites again prostituted themselves to the Baals. They set up Baal Berith as their god. Verse 34. And did not remember the Lord their God, who had rescued them from the hands of all their enemies on every side. They also failed to show any loyalty to the family of Jerubbaal, that is Gideon, in spite of all the good things he had done for them. So, how quickly we humans are able to forget all the good and the sacrifices one may have given for us.
Yes, sir.
Regardless of what Gideon has done for his people, as seen as he died, they turned back to their foolish ways. So in 2022 or even 2023, how are we any different from the Israelites? Are we turning away from God as soon as we leave church each Sabbath? Is he with us during the week? Do we seek him when we are only in trouble and forget about him once he delivers us? How is your relationship with him? Is he closer than a brother? Do you whisper a prayer every day? How often do you pray? How often do you talk to him?
Right on.
Is he your friend that you can go to even when you have nothing to ask for? Judges 9, verse 1. Judges chapter 9, verse 1. Abimelech, son of Jerubbaal, went to his mother's brothers in Shechem and said to them, and to all his mother's clan, ask all the citizens of Shechem, which is better for you, to have all 70 of Jerubbaal's sons rule over you, or just one man? Remember, I am your flesh and blood. When the brothers repeated all this to the citizens of Shechem, they were inclined to follow Abimelech, for they said, he is related to us. Verse 4, they gave him 70 shekels of silver from the temple of Baal Berith, and Abimelech used it to hire reckless scoundrels who became his followers. Verse 5, he went to his father's home in Ophrah, and on one stone he murdered all his 70 brothers, the son of Jerubbaal. But Jotham, the youngest son of Jerubbaal, escaped by hiding. Then all the citizens of Shechem and Bethmiel gathered beside the tree at the pillar in Shechem to crown Abimelech king. When Jotham was told about this, he climbed up on the top of Mount Gerizim and shouted to them, listen to me, citizens of Shechem, so that God may listen to you. And this is this metaphor or this ideology is one that really speaks to me, so I'm hoping it speaks to you too. One day, the trees went out to anoint a king for themselves. So figuratively speaking, the trees, the plants, they went to appoint a king to rule over each and every plant.
Yes, sir.
They said to the olive tree, "Be our king." But the olive tree answered, "Should I give up my oil, by which both gods and humans are honored, to hold sway over the trees?" Verse 10. Next, the trees said to the fig tree, "Come and be our king." But the fig tree replied, "Should I give up my fruit, so good and sweet, to hold sway over the trees?" So here we have the fig tree rejecting to be king also. Verse 12. Then the trees said to the vine, "Come and be our king." But the vine answered, "Should I give up my wine, which cheers both gods and humans, to hold sway over trees?" Finally, all the trees said to the thorn bush. So the last tree that they're going to ask to be their king is the thorn bush. "Come and be our king." The thorn bush said to the trees, "If you really want to appoint me king over you, come and take refuge in my shade. But if not, then let fire come out of the thorn bush and consume the cedars of Lebanon."
Yes,
and that was verse 15. So here we have the thorn bush saying, "Come take refuge in my shade." Now we all know the thorn bush. This is something that's going to hurt you physically and emotionally.
Yes.
Emotionally meaning pain. So this king is saying, "Come and take refuge in my shade." Now a lot of the times we, as persons, we tend to run to whoever we see calling. But are we running to the right person? Are we running to God? Who are we running to when we're seeking refuge? Be careful that you're not running into the wrong person. Have you been acting honorable to God? Today is the day we should re-examine our relationship with whom you may have a quarrel. It's not about being the bigger person, but today it's about being the God-like person. What would Jesus do if he was in your position? And finally, Judges 5, verse 31. So may all your enemies perish, Lord, but may all who love you be like the sun when it rises in its strength. Then the land had peace for 40 years. A lot of the times we have no idea how much value is placed on relationships. In this case, the Lord's relationship to you. We take for granted the battles he has fought for us and what he has sacrificed so that you and I may have a shot at salvation.
Yes, sir.
Is this a love-hate relationship between us and him? Is this a love-hate relationship between you and God? Everyone laughs, no one answers. Brother Mark said, hopefully not. If he leaves us so much as to leave us to temptation and our sufferings, is this considered as tough love? Is this him bringing us from near to far? If you are asking all these questions, it means you haven't sat down to marvel at the glory of our living God. Do you take the time out to say, "Yes, Lord, you are indeed closer than a brother to me"? Closer than a brother, my Jesus is to me. He's my nearest friend in everything I need. He's my rock, my shield and hiding place. Closer than a brother, Jesus is to me. Thanks for listening.